Here is a tutorial on how to cut and sew a button shirt for any body size. If you're into ready to wear, I'll be showing you how to achieve the premium standard ready to wear vibe. Greetings everyone, and let's get started. This fabric is by 60 and I'm using 2 yards for this project. I'll go ahead to place my fabric on fold on the length axis. And if you notice your fabric slanted and not equal like this, to correct this, you pick out the short one and you keep lifting it up until the both sides is equal. As you can see, the both sides are equal now. Let me flip it to the other side. When I flip it to the other side, you'd notice that at the top, one is higher than the other. So I'll go ahead to place it on 4 folds, and you can see that we still have this slant and unequal side. I'll still go ahead to adjust the shorter one. By adjusting, I simply mean you keep lifting the shorter one until the both of them is equal. Next, I'll go ahead to place this on the table. When I place it on the table, at the top part, you are going to notice unequal length of your fold. To correct this, you are going to get the length of the shortest part of the fold, connect it with a straight line, and you cut it out. After cutting it out, you notice you have a equal straight part to work with. Although I'm using the by 60 part of the fabric, just in case the by 60 part of the fabric would be too small for your body size, the total width should be your bust circumference plus 20 inches. Next, you're going to pick one end or the tip of the fabric, you place it on ½ inch fold, then you go ahead to place it on 1 inch fold. You do this from the top part to the down part of your folded fabric, and you iron it down and hold it down with hemming gum. Now what we just did is for our button overlap. I did this for the both sides of my fold. So I'm going to head to place my fabric back on 4 folds, and your fold, the back part should start immediately after your button allowance. It should not be folded equally. Immediately after your button allowance, I had to use pin to indicate it. You can see that my fold is starting immediately after my overlap for the button. Next, I'm going to flip this fold to be on the front part, like the front part should be facing me. Remember that the back fold is sitting immediately after the button allowance. Next, from the top part, I'm going to measure 1.5 inch from one side and the other side. I'll place it on fold and pin it down. I'll place my tape from the top and mark out my full length plus 1.5 inches. I'll place my tape from the top and I'm going to mark out my bust point. On that line, do not start from the button overlap, start after the button overlap. Then you mark out your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 3.5 inch, which is the width I already have here. On the top part, you mark out your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Whatever you have here, subtract it from your actual sleeve length, as we are not cutting armhole for this top. Next, I'll go ahead to mark out the neck width. I'm using 2.5. Neck depth, I'm using 2.5. I will extend the neck depth down like this. Then on the top part, I'll give it a neckline curve like so. Next, you are going to pick out only the folded part of the top part and you cut out this neckline that we just marked like this. Now you remember we folded 1.5 inch inward. You use your chalk and indicate where that fold stops. We are using the same width that we used on the top part for the down part. Next, you are going to measure from the side, come in on the down part by 5 inches. Then you go up on the side by 2 inches. Connect these 2 points with a slanted line and you cut it out. Next, you go ahead to blend this point and cut it out, and boom, you have a perfect C cut. Next, I'll go ahead to unpin this fold. Go up your bust point by 1 inch. You're going to clip that point and this would be your armhole depth. Next, you are going to take the front part and keep the back part aside for now. Next, you arrange the front part to be equal and you place it back on that 1.5-inch fold. Remember, this is our front neck depth. You go ahead to mark your front neckline like this. Then you go ahead to open up the fold and you are cutting ½ inch above the marked line. You cut out your neckline as well. This is what the front piece would look like. Next, you take your back part, place back the 1.5-inch on fold and you measure down to your clip point. This would be for your armhole depth. You need this measurement to cut out your sleeve. Next, you are going to open up the back part and you measure the width of the back part. You are going to measure from the top to your armhole depth. The cutout you are making should be 2 inches away from your armhole depth and should be as wide as the back part. So this is the cutout. You are going to be placing it on top of the back part like this. So what to do? You flip it over and you sew it straight. To make it easy for you to sew, you are going to pin it up so you can easily sew it on the straight line. After sewing this, you iron it and flip it over, top stitch it all around. Then you can flip it to the other side and cut out any excess following the cutout of the back piece. To get a perfect C-cut, you have to fold the under before joining the side and you give it a single fold all around first. Then you come back to give it a second fold. I'm gonna head to fold the front as well. The width of my sleeve is my armhole depth times 2 plus 2. Do not forget to subtract the extra length added to your sleeve length from the shoulder. For the sleeve circumference, I'm going to mark out my round sleeve measurement divided by 2 plus 3 inches. I'll go ahead to connect it to the top part with a slanted line, cut it out, and do not forget to clip the center of the top part. I joined everything with ½ inch. I'm going to be finishing the sleeve later on in the video. I'll place the two sides of the neck together and I'll measure my neckline on fold like this. If this measurement is given less than your actual neck circumference, you can cut it down to make it wide enough for your neckline. We'll be using this measurement to cut out the collar. For the collar, we are going to be cutting on a strong stay. This stay should be wide enough to contain the neck circumference. Next, I'll go ahead to place it on fold. Pin it down to keep it on hold. I'll draw up a straight line. On that straight line, I'll mark out the measured neck circumference, connect it upwards, and I'll cut out the excess. I'll go up ½ inch on the open side, connect it with a curve as shown, indicate the open part to be the front and the closed part to be the back. I'll go up the curved line by 1 inch. I'll mark this all the way to the back. I'll first connect with a curve rule and then connect with a straight line. We curve the top part like this. Next, you are going to go up by 2½ inch. Following your curve line, you mark it all the way to the back. You use a curve rule where necessary and a straight rule as shown. Go in by 1 inch on the open part, connect it all the way to the down. Then on the top part, you go out by ½ inch, connect with a slanted line as shown. Next, you cut following your line. You cut out the collar base first, no need to add any sewing allowance. Then you go ahead to cut out the collar following your slanted line. So this is what we need for the collar base and the collar itself. If you'd mistake one for the other, do well to note where the up part of each of them is. I'm gonna head to iron this on my fabric, and before I did that, I ironed a stay on the fabric itself. And as you can see, this fabric have enough to add like ½ inch sewing allowance all around, and I have 2 pieces for it, one for the collar and one at turn up. First, we are going to be starting with the collar. You sew it all around, leaving the down part open. You just sew following the collar stay exactly. So after sewing this, I went ahead to trim it, leaving it with ½ inch. Like I said, the down part is unsewn. So from the down part, I'll go ahead to flip it to the right side and I'll iron it flat. After ironing, you place the two sides of the collar together and you notch the center of the collar. Next, we are sewing the open side of the collar to the top part of the collar base. Now, the fabric that have the collar stay, you are going to trim the top part to be left with 0.5 inch sewing allowance. You place the two sides together and you notch the center. Next, you are going to take the collar and you place the notched point of the collar and the notched point of the collar base together, right side facing right side. And you go ahead to pin the both of them together. Then you take the turn up and you are going to place it on the other side. Next, you are going to be sewing on the area that has the collar stay. All you need to do is to sew and follow the shape of the collar stay. Do not sew it down. Just sew following the shape of the collar stay. After sewing, you go ahead to trim out the sewing allowance as shown. My stitch stopped where the collar stay stopped. Now on the part that has the collar stay, you are going to be adding a sewing allowance of 0.75 inch with the collar stay as the reference point. You are cutting only on the collar base. If you know you cannot cut this out accurately without marking it out, please you come down from where the collar stay stopped by 0.5 inches. Mark it out before you cut it out. Flip this to the right side and you iron it. On the turn up, you go ahead to cut out the excess to make it equal to the one you added the 0.75 inch sewing allowance. Next, you pick out one part of the collar base and you cut out a 0.25 inch to make one a bit shorter than the other. Place the two sides together and you notch the center. Next, you take the top and you also notch the center of the neckline. You place the top on the right side and you are going to join the shorter part to the right side of your top. You go ahead to pin the two centers together and you sew this from one end to the other end. After sewing this in, you are going to iron the sewn seam inward like this. Now after ironing your seam inward, you are going to give the top part a tiny fold and place it on top the sewn seam and use hemming gum to hem it down first. Hemming it down with hemming gum before top stitching it will make it easy and avoid any excesses when you are sewing. So here I've gone ahead to hem it down with hemming gum. I'll go ahead to top stitch it and I'll fold the collar down like this. So I've gone ahead to top stitch and iron the collar, and this is all for the collar. Next we move to the sleeve. The fold I have here is 5 inches wide. I have already ironed ST on it, so I'll place it back on fold and place it on fold as you see me do. I have two pieces of this cutout band. Next, on the closed part of this fold, I'm going to take out half of an inch in a slanted way. We are trying to achieve this opening at the sleeve circumference. Next, I'm going to open up my fold and I'm going to close this slanted part. I'll do the same thing for every other piece. After closing, I flipped it to the right side, iron it down, and I top stitched two pieces together to get this V shape. Now I'm going to take my top, flip it to the wrong side of the sleeve. I'm going to get the exact circumference of the sleeve. Next, you go ahead to open up the folded band and you sew it together. Next, you go ahead to trim out the excess, fold it back into a band, and you join it all around the sleeve circumference. And this is all for the sleeve. Thank you so much for watching, guys. You can check our channel for other interesting tutorials. See you in the next one.